Make sure your insurance doesn't come up short. Get gap cover with ALA. For more information, follow the links in the description. Hello everybody. Have you ever played the 20 questions game with a car? You know the one that I mean. You're allowed to ask 20 questions and be given a yes or no answer to everything and then work out what it is you're talking about. Well, let's play it with today's star car, shall we? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it new? Is it old? Is it classic? Is it vintage? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it European? Is it American? Do I want one? Do I not want one? When the answer to all of those questions is yes, then it could be only one thing. This is an Excalibur. The car with the coolest name ever. But what actually is it? Well, find out in today's episode of JayEmm on Cars. So, the first thing you'll want to know about this car is how old it is. And I shall tell you, this particular model of the Excalibur, a Series 3, is from 1976. But it is deliberately designed to look like something much older than that. And the Excalibur story dates back to 1963, when automotive engineer Brooks Stevens was contracted by Studebaker to build a car deliberately inspired by the old Art Deco things of the 1920s and 30s. At the same time, several other manufacturers had the same idea, and the first generation of Excalibur was his suggestion. But, for whatever reason, Studebaker decided they didn't fancy it. Stevens, though, could see some legs in the idea, and so he presented it to the public, collected a number of orders, and set about producing it himself. The first car was built on a Studebaker platform and with a Studebaker V8 engine. The cars were originally called the Excalibur SS. Somebody evidently not getting the memo that that wasn't a cool thing to call things anymore. However, a few years in, supply of that engine dried up, necessitating a change of both power and chassis. So, for the Series 2, introduced in 1969, he built an all-new ground-up platform bespoke to the car and gave it Chevrolet power. The car also changed in terms of looks quite dramatically, being less like the original Mercedes SSK on which the first series was based, and more like a vision of the 1970s. Then, in 1975, we got this, the Series 3, at which point I think you could argue the car jumped the shark, because all that notion of trying to look like an old-school, elegant 1920s thing went out the window, and the car went full pimp. It was all about the bling, the gaudiness, very much, look at me, everybody, and don't look too closely, everybody, because if you do, you will see an interior that 1970s British Leyland might have thought was just about passable. This one is a four-seater, which was introduced with the Series 2, so it's known as a phaeton. Though I will give the car some credit. For those big pipes out the side, they are indeed the exhaust. They're fully functional, although a little bit daft, because this thing, on account of 1970s emissions, has a dirty great big 454 cubic inch engine, 7.5 litres of V8 American muscle. Power? Well, I don't know, but to be honest, if I did find a figure, given the time it came from, it'd likely be a fiction anyway. Although, that exhaust likely does hamper the power a little bit, because you've got 4 pipes coming out, going into a big box, which then goes into 3 pipes. I'm fairly confident that's not an efficient design. It then runs all the way along the back of the car in 2 separate pipes until it reaches a big silencer at the back. That is then connected to an ancient 3-speed automatic gearbox, though, it must be said, it is certainly at low speeds a fairly pleasant thing to drive. And actually, an awful lot nicer to be in than the Auburn that I just got out of, which is itself also a recreation of a 1930s car, but built much later. The Series 3 comes complete with massive chin at the front, a brace of air horns, and to be honest, it's a bit wild, this thing. However, that is likely also exactly what made it quite so popular, albeit for a very short space of time. This is the four-wheeled equivalent of disco music. And though disco is unlikely ever to make a big comeback, every now and again, I do like to put a good record on and have a bit of a bop. Because sometimes you find yourself in the mood and nothing but the best cheese will do. And that's what this car is. It's utterly and totally beguiling. It also comes with as wild an origin story as you might expect. For this car was bought new by a member of the Abu Dhabi royal family, who had it in their collection, driving it almost never. They then contracted a young gentleman to come and teach them how to fly, and as part of the deal, they got the car. This Series 3 also has an evolved version of the bespoke Excalibur chassis and plenty of Excalibur branding throughout, including most notably a big wobbly sword perched at the end of that very long bonnet, which, unlike the Oban, I can actually see in all its glory along with both corners of the car. Both underneath and on top, you'll also find pieces looted from the Chevrolet parts bin, so this has pieces of Camaro, pieces of Corvette, and there's also some VW stuff too, including chiefly, I think, the lights. Now put your foot down and it will move. Exactly how fast is it? I'm not sure, though I can tell you it is quick enough that Joe got his first speeding ticket in 70 years behind the wheel of this. It was purchased for Joe by his son Alan, to keep him busy in his later years, though I think in his own words he'd tell you he was already quite busy enough, thank you very much. As with that Oban, there is no real proper roof option for this. There's a cover for it when you're storing it outdoors, but that's about it. If it rains, you will get wet. If it turns over, you will also die, because I can tell you for a fact that my head is way above this windscreen, which in all honesty, I wouldn't trust to support the car's weight anyway. Hey, this bit of road's a bit entertaining. Originally, the car also had air ride, not just for the suspension, but also the air horns, though they do still work. Brakes actually do work, drums on all four corners, and I've got to say, for a car built in the 1970s, based on an idea from the 1920s, drives all right. Particularly when you consider the low volume nature of the production, I'm really impressed with it. You would have thought that the Oban, by virtue of being about 3 decades newer, would be a lot nicer to drive. Not the case at all. Come on! Oh yes. Like all big block American engines, about 4,000 RPM is your lot. And the torque converter in the gearbox is clearly doing a lot of work. Those original Series 1 cars were also very light, weighing in at just 950 kilos. As for these, I'm not sure, but I genuinely think it might not be that heavy. It certainly doesn't feel it. The steering's a bit odd too. Power assisted, incredibly light, but does tend to catch you out in corners because you do seem to have to turn it a lot more than you might think, which then means when you're coming out of a bend, you have to turn it back a lot more than you might expect. You'll have to forgive me too. I'm going to need to deploy my sunglasses. Not for sun, but oh, hello, you've gone. Hi. Sorry about that, I didn't see that you'd gone. Hopefully you've not been away for too long. Anyway, yes, I put on some sunglasses. Not for the sun, which has run away, but for the bugs. The placement of this screen means that with my nice long torso, getting a lot in my eyes. Ignore that for a minute. I'm having a great time. It's so silly, this car. Oh yeah. That chassis is not perfect, that's for sure. Plenty of flex in it. Oh, yeah, hello. Suspension struggling over this a little bit. A lot of work to keep the thing going straight, that has to be said. Oh, you've gone away again. I'm so sorry about this. Hello. I should try and keep you in place, but no promises. I mean, worst case scenario, you can just have a look around the rest of the cabin. Right, here we go. It's, oh, bus. Ah! Oh, crikey. Oh, look. A busy piece of road. This will be fun. The good news is, in stuff like this, if you do get in anyone's way, they're just so confused as to what it is that they've seen that they don't even have the time to be angry at you. In fairness, that describes most of what I've driven this week. So if this is the first video like this of mine you've seen, first off, subscribe if you're enjoying things. Also, look out for my other videos on a 108-year-old Cadillac. That was awesome. A 1928 Durant, car I'd never even heard of. The Oban. Also today, I've driven a 1983 Mark I Golf GTI and a Triumph 2500. Been a very varied week, this. See, no other car do I drive where I get thumbs ups from truckers. And this is all thanks to my good friend Doug, who's played Automotive Cilla Black and himself has a YouTube channel and now an Airbnb. And all he's asked this week is that every now and again I give the Airbnb a shout out. So if you find yourself needing to stay somewhere in the Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire border area, give it a look. I'll put a link for it in the description down below. There is definitely a heater in here. Not only can I see a switch for it, but I can also feel some heat as well. I don't think I want to drive this thing in 0 degrees, but it's not that bad. Gets up to speed quicker than you might expect to. All in, I'm quite impressed with this. Honestly, after that Oban, I was fully braced for this to be a hideous disappointment. Sadly, all good things do have to come to an end. And in 1987, after a couple more iterations of the car, Excalibur folded. A few people then tried to keep it going, but ultimately, none could make it last. And then, in the 1990s, the company shut its doors for good. Leaving this today as one of those cars that every now and again somebody will see and try and describe to a friend, and you got to pray they took a picture of it, because otherwise you're never going to guess what on earth it is that they saw. Having now driven both this and the Oban, I would love the idea of cars being made just to look good to come back. I think we need that, especially in this age of electric stuff. You can build a chassis, a rolling platform, reasonably easily. Let's get some cool bodies on them, shall we? Let's have a little bit of fun with cars once again. Let's inspire people to get out there and get driving. Because to be honest with you, even if I was in something with a bit of performance, I wouldn't go that much quicker on this road anyway. Too lumpy and bumpy. But as it is right now, this is giving me the 1970s rock star experience that I'd like. And so with that, I wish to say simply a big thanks to Doug, to Alan, and to Joe for making today possible, and of course to you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you for the next one. What'll it be? Who knows? But there's a good chance it won't be as cool as this. Bye bye.